I walked into the McDonald's late at night, feeling tired and hungry. The place was quiet, except for the soft hum of the kitchen and the occasional beep from the cash register. I was ready to close up for the night, but something felt different tonight. "Hi, I'll have a number 4 meal with extra cheese, 2 Big Macs with a large fry, 3 apple pies, and a shamrock shake," a big man said. His voice was loud, and he looked like he hadn't slept in days. He shoved a crumpled wad of money into Gary's hand. "Here's your change. I'll call your number when it's ready," the man said, and walked away to his corner table. Gary and I started preparing his order, but I couldn't help but wonder if he had a family waiting for him. Gary whispered, "Does he have a family waiting at home or something?" "Stan is one of our regulars. You'll see him pretty often if you stick with the night shift," I replied, trying to hide my worry. Gary nodded, and we continued our work. "Honestly, Stan is the least of your worries," Gary said suddenly, shivering. We worked in silence for a while. Then Stan came back quickly to get his food. He grabbed his meal and asked me, "Could you help me sweep in the back? Best to do it now before any more customers come." Just then, Gary's phone started ringing loudly. Stan looked upset. "Sorry, got to take this," he said, rushing to the kitchen. He came back a few minutes later, looking pale and sick. "That was my Aunt Norma. My parents were in a car wreck. My mom is in critical condition," he said, staring into space. "Gary, I'm so sorry. Do you need me to call someone?" I asked, worried. "No, I'll be fine," he replied quickly. "But with all due respect, what are you still doing here? Go be with your family." "Dude, I can handle closing up on my own," Gary said firmly. "You're right. I need to go. Here, take my key to the restaurant. There's a list of rules in Dave's office. Go read them the first chance you get. You need to follow them to a T, no matter how ridiculous they sound." I took the small silver key and watched Gary leave. I put on his headset and went to Dave's office. The door was heavy, and I struggled to open it. Inside, there was a big portrait of Dave smiling down at me. "Really, Dave? Even I'm not that self-absorbed," I muttered, looking around. On the bulletin board, I found a list of rules for the night shift. They looked strange and scary. 1. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, you have 7 minutes to start your shift. No exceptions. 2. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, if a hooded figure knocks at the drive-through window, do not answer. Stay out of sight. 3. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, if Stan says you forgot his pickles, give him a free chocolate shake. If he refuses, lock yourself in the office and call Dave. 4. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, no outside food or drink. 5. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, if something like blood seeps from under the grill, mop it up until it stops. It is not blood. 6. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, an old woman in a shawl will come in exactly 1:10 a.m. Don't look at her for too long. She won't leave until you ask her where Tony is. 7. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, if a small child says he lost his mother, ignore him. He doesn't have good intentions. 8. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, follow the dress code. Talk to management if you're not sure. 9. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, if you feel like someone is watching you, lock yourself in the office until it goes away. 10. Asterisk, asterisk rule. Asterisk, asterisk, the store closes at 2:00 a.m. Before you leave, put 2 packages of raw burgers on the stove. 11. Asterisk, asterisk, rule. Asterisk, asterisk, always leave by 2:37 am. The Hamburglar doesn't like company. 12. Asterisk, asterisk, rule. Asterisk, asterisk, breaking these rules means you lose your job. Call Dave if you have questions. At the bottom, Dave's phone number was written quickly. I felt scared. Was this a joke? Maybe Gary knew something. I decided to wait and see. Back at the counter, Stan stood up quickly and came to me. Can I help you with something? Yeah, you forgot my pickles, I said, rolling my eyes. Gary had only been gone for 10 minutes, and things were already getting weird. I know he didn't. I tried to explain. I'm sorry. I can give you a free shake for the inconvenience. Stan shook his head hard. No, I don't want more food. There's another way you can fix this. His face twisted into a mean smile. I'm 16, sir. If you don't give me a refund, I'll take it from you. His large body moved toward me, and I felt my heart race. I ran to the office, but Stan was fast. He knocked on the heavy door, causing everything inside to shake. I barely got the door shut before he reached it. Thud. He banged his fists on the door, shouting, I'll get you, you little wimp. You can't stay there forever. I panicked and quickly called Dave. This better be good. It's Stan. The free shake didn't work. I'm trapped in the office. Dave answered after a long wait. Hello. Put it on speaker and hold your phone up to the door so he can hear me, Dave instructed. I did as he said. Stan, can you hear me? It's Dave, Stan replied. What's up? Dave asked. Davey, are you harassing one of my employees again? I don't need to get Mrs. Barrett on the phone, do I? Please, I'll behave. Don't call her, Stan said, his voice shaking. I promise I'll never bother her again. Come on, Davey, show some compassion. Dave thought for a moment. All right, but you need to go home and apologize to Mrs. Blake for scaring her. Blair, I said, face-palming. Right, apologize to Blair and I'll let you go. Thank you. Sorry, Blair. Can I have that free shake? No, Stan, no free shake tonight. I need you to leave, Dave said firmly. Stan stomped out of the kitchen angrily. Thanks, Dave. Anytime, kid, Dave replied. I felt a bit relieved and went back to my work, trying to clean up the mess Stan had made. As I was putting the last ketchup bottle away, I saw a dark figure at the drive-through window. My heart pounded. The figure had glowing yellow eyes that seemed to pierce the darkness. It knocked softly on the glass, then harder and harder until it pounded like thunder. I hid behind the counter, hugging my knees, shaking with fear. Suddenly, everything was silent. The figure was gone, like it had never been there. I took a deep breath and checked my phone. It was 12:15 am. I started sweeping, trying to calm down. A few minutes later, some college kids came in, looking drunk. They grabbed their food and left quickly. One of them gave a small old lady her order without saying thank you. She wore a black shawl and looked like a ninja from a movie. Her presence made me uneasy, but I was too tired to care. Hello, how can I help you? I yawned, covering my mouth. The woman stared at me with yellow, reptilian eyes that made my heart race. Mom, would you like to order something? Nothing, I replied. The longer we looked at each other, the more sleepy I felt. She seemed to pull me in, and I almost nodded off. Where's Tony? I whispered before passing out. When I woke up, the woman was gone. I splashed cold water on my face and made a big cup of coffee, hoping it would keep me awake. Just then, I felt a creepy feeling, like bugs crawling on my neck. I looked around but saw nothing. A soft voice whispered, "Blair," and I ran to the office, slamming the door behind me. What was that? I wondered, pacing like a scared animal. After a long time, the feeling went away. I tried to relax, but my headset started making static noises. A slurred voice came through. "Hey, is this place open?" "Yeah, what do you want to order?" I asked, losing my patience. "I'll have a fillet of fish meal," the man replied. "Coming right up," I said, going back to the kitchen. Who comes to McDonald's at 1:30 a.m. for a fillet of fish? I grumbled as I made his order, trying to get rid of him quickly. "Thanks," he said. But then I saw a kid at the counter. His messy blonde hair and sad blue eyes looked scared. I sighed. "Yeah, I'll take care of him. Have a good night." A child unaccompanied in my restaurant, just what I needed, I muttered, approaching the counter. Suddenly, Rule 7 echoed in my mind. Ignore him. It's almost 2. You got this. But it was hard. The child started crying loudly, his screams echoing in the kitchen. He was small, maybe 6 years old, wearing an old Pac-Man t-shirt and looking dirty. He grabbed my shirt and begged, "Please help me, lady. I can't find my mommy." I felt my patience snap. "Get out. Leave me alone," I shouted. The boy stopped crying and stood up straight, his eyes red with anger. "You made the right choice," he growled, heading for the exit. I returned to cleaning, hoping the night would end quietly. But just 3 minutes before closing, I saw a dark red liquid oozing from under the stove. "Great, just what I needed," I muttered. I filled a mop bucket and started cleaning up the mysterious fluid. It tasted like copper, and I felt sick as I kept mopping. After several buckets, I finally stopped, feeling relief. "Take that, I win," I cheered, but then I saw it was 2:35 a.m. I rushed to the freezer, grabbing bags of frozen patties. I opened them quickly, hoping to finish before time ran out. As I was tossing the packaging into the trash, a man stood before me. His black eyes stared into mine, and he wore a mask that covered the top half of his face. His red hair stuck out from a floppy hat, and his uniform was old and torn, with a red tie covered in burger pictures. He smiled a creepy, rotten smile. "Look, I know you're new here, so I'll spare you this time. But if I ever catch you working here this late again, I won't think twice about increasing my calorie intake," he said in a rough voice. His smile was terrifying, and his tongue was wet and grey. I felt like a mouse in front of a snake. "What are you still doing here? Get out," he demanded. Terrified, I ran through the dining area and burst into the cold night air. The man's empty stare followed me into the dark parking lot. I quickly locked him inside and ran to my car, my heart pounding with fear, anger, and confusion. I wasn't scheduled to work the next day, but I was angry and wanted answers. After 4 hours of running on no sleep and drinking a lot of coffee, I went back to McDonald's. I was so tired but needed to confront the man. I marched straight to Dave's office. "Oh yeah, it was great. Had his car repossessed and everything," the man said before calling out. "Hey, Blitz." Yep. For the last freaking time it's Blair. Blair, not Blitzen, not Blazin, not Blakely," I corrected him. Dave answered the call. "Yeah, Jim, I'll get back to you." He hung up angrily, pocketing his phone. "Do you even know who that was? Why do you think you can just storm into my office like this?" "No, listen to me, Davy boy. I just had the worst night of my life. Every weird thing that could have happened, happened, and you don't care one bit." I see you've met our more troublesome customers. Yeah, I have, and I'm not dealing with that crap again. I quit, I said loudly, slamming my hat onto Dave's desk and turning to leave. Wait, $25 an hour? Dave asked, surprised. I stopped and faced him. Yeah, it's almost double what I'm making now. I could pay for college in no time. 25 and you've got a deal. You drive a hard bargain, Mrs. Blair. I accept, I said reluctantly, shaking his sweaty hand. I'm glad you understand. Welcome to the night crew. As I left Dave's office, I felt a mix of fear and relief. The night had been full of strange and scary events, but now I had a new job. I hoped the nightmares would stop, but deep down, I knew something eerie still lingered in the shadows of the night shift at McDonald's.